go again?
Oh, no, not again.
You've seen it before, haven't you?
Dom, how long have we been doing this?
Once more unto the breach, dear friends.
Again and again and again until we're both dead.
Hello and welcome to You've Seen It Before, movie reviews, connection in mind, and welcome back to another installment of I've Never Seen It Before. If you're new to this segment, it's pretty much as the name sounds. These are just films that I've been meaning to look at for quite some time, but just for one reason or another never got around to them. Whether they be older, much older films or newer films that came out that I just hadn't got around to seeing. I finally get around to see them, and I give you my thoughts on them. And if possible, I try to give you some thoughts as to certain plot developments and character arcs that seem familiar to me, and where I've seen them before, and where you may have seen them before. This time around, I'm taking on a film that I knew about, but I've been never gotten around to until now. I'm a huge fan of the 2000 film Gone in 60 Seconds, starring Nicolas Cage and Angelina Jolie, amongst others. I really like the cars, the plots. Again, I don't think it's a great film by any means. It's definitely got some flaws in the in plot development and some very obvious continuity errors as well that can be kind of distracting to people. But overall, I think it's a really good film, and really, I kind of like to tell people, as a sort of quote from the movie, I don't watch it for the plot, I watch it for the cars, and it's got some very gorgeous cars in there. But not a lot of people might know that this is actually a remake of a film from 1974, also entitled Gone in 60 Seconds. This is a film that was directed, produced, and shot a lot by H.B. Halicki. He did a lot of the film's stunts, getting himself pretty badly hurt in a lot of instances, and a lot of that, the instances where he did get hurt actually made it into the film. This is an indie film. It was produced, as I said, in 1974 for, I think it was about $150,000 in 74, and went on to make, I think, $40 million. So it was actually a pretty decent hit for an indie film at that time. And much like the 2000 film, it is about stealing a whole lot of cars. However, that's where the similarities basically end. This film features H.B. Halicki, the director, as Mandrian Pace, a insurance insider who works on insurance by day and steals cars and resells them by night. When he gets a contract from a South American drug lord or something like that for a job to steal 48 cars in about 5 days, he gets $200,000 up front, and he'll get $200,000 more upon delivery. This list of cars is somewhat obscure. I think at one point he even steals a semi. But through a series of events that he actually has to get all the 48 cars to him in that amount of time. However, there's one car that seems to present all sorts of problems. That is a 1973 yellow Ford Mustang. He code names Eleanor. All the cars get code names. And another idiosyncrasy of the main car thief in this film is that, as an insurance insider, he wants to make sure that the cars that he steals are all insured, so that he's basically kind of sticking it to the insurance companies and not to the people that he's stealing these cars from. And that's where a lot of the trouble comes with Eleanor, where in one instance he steals a 73 Mustang from a guy who actually happens to be a stingy insurance rep himself. So, and the Pace actually knows of the guy and wants to, he wanted to stick it to him, so he has a bit of a car chase. And a lot of the cars that they steal in this film aren't necessarily the most gorgeous. I mean, I like them because they're cool older cars, but there's several different Rolls Royces, several different big honking Cadillacs. But there's some gorgeous cars in this film. In fact, there's one scene that is kind of pointless, but it really only serves to show a beauty shot of all of the cars that were stolen throughout this film up until that point. In fact, I mean, there's like a De Tomaso Pantera, a couple of awesome Ferraris. There's one crazy car that I didn't even know existed, but it's pretty wild. It's called a Manta. Go look it up. It's actually it's pretty wild. I can't believe that was actually they stole it from a dealership. I can't believe that was actually a production car. But yeah, this film is an independent film, and from that perspective, it really shows. I mean, some of the shots that they decide to use for this film, like. If I said that I don't really watch this film for the plot, I really don't watch the film for its plot, because the characters, it's really hard to follow. They do a lot of dubbing and voiceover to explain some things, and I don't know if it was just the transfer to digital to go get on Amazon Prime, or if it was just always this way, but the sound mixing is terrible. I had to turn my TV way up to even hear what the heck was going on. And when they explained it, certain things, like it is not shot very well. Some things just kind of happen. It took me a while to realize that that while Maindrian, the main character, he has his it's his fiance, who is the one main woman. Her name is Pumpkin. I didn't know that was just a nickname. That's apparently her name, Pumpkin Chase. I realized that one of the other guys is the brother-in-law, and the other brother-in-law are the crew. It's like, I guess they must have been explained somewhere early on in the film. That doesn't really play a part in this at all. And really, you don't need all this plot to know that these cars need to be stolen in a certain amount of time. And the film kind of knows that. It kind of whereas it takes probably until the halfway point in this film to start getting into the actual car stealing, or at least the main body of it as it pertains to the plot of this film. For the 1974 film, it gets started within like, I don't know, 10 minutes. And this is a hour 37 long movie. And yeah, it gets started really quickly. And I also love the fact that they put on like disguises throughout the whole film to disguise the fact that when they're stealing these cars from like doing like a confidence scam, like, oh hey, I'm doing a test drive. Can you get out so I can test something? Okay, bye. Then they kind of have a lot of disguises to keep their real face from the cops, obviously. But the way that they do it, it reminds me a lot of like the terrible disguises of in The Americans, where it's supposed to fool someone in that time that's set in the early '80s, but in this film, it's like I don't know, it's just charming in a low budget sort of way, and the fact that they get away with it kind of remind me of that show. I just love that aspect. Also, the fact that this is the early mid '70s, and there's some very mid '70s hair and fashion going on here, and it's terrible, but I kind of love it for that. Again, the cars are awesome. This film is also notable for being having one of the longest, if not the longest, car chase in movie history. This thing goes on for 40 minutes, and it also, in the course of this car chase, destroyed 93 cars in that space, which I believe is a record that has stood to this day. This film, there's a reason car chases don't last this long, and there's sort of like this car. Of course, it's with Eleanor, the '73 Ford Mustang. The main guy, he's evading the cops throughout all these things. You think he gets caught once? Okay, great. You think he gets caught twice? Okay, this time for sure. Nope, he gets away again. They do that fake out of, oh, he's caught, but no, he gets away, like four times throughout this whole chase. And by the fourth time, I'm like, just end it already, jeez. And to a certain extent, yeah, there's a reason you don't show it for 40 minutes. I feel like there's sort of a one-upmanship here going on, because car chases in movies were kind of evolving at this point in film history. A couple of very notable films with car chases, notable car chase films, I should say, that were filmed only a few years prior to when this film came out were Bullitt with Steve McQueen, which came out in '68, and The French Connection with Gene Hackman, which came out in '71. Those both have very famous car chases, and I feel like this film was sort of inspired to try to like take a, all right, where can we go from here? Let's make it just longer and bigger. And a lot of this film, the director and producer H.B. Halicki, he bought a lot of the police cars himself at auction, and that's how. And so you get kind of the same cars and same cops over and over because he used family friends for his for the crew a lot of the cases, and so you get the same people popping up over and over as different cops, different extras that kind of show up repeatedly. And again, that lends itself to the low-budget B-movie feel to it. And there's some charm to that, but again, to a modern audience, this is going to be really boring. And again, for a car chase to last 40 minutes, there's a reason they don't last that long. But as far as the cars go, the cars are awesome. There was one scene in the car chase that I feel like is a really bad editing move on their part. It's near the end of the film where it's similar to the scene in the remake of Gone in 60 Seconds where our main guy, in this mainstream pace, he gets to a scene where a line of another automobile accident has basically cut off the road, and he's barreling towards this wreck scene in the Mustang. He jumps the Mustang and it comes down, whereas in this film it's very obviously a CGI car, and it comes down hard, and it makes it in a way that yeah, it's kind of obvious that the car would not have survived that jump, at least not the way it was shown in the movie, but you kind of get away with it because it's suspension of disbelief. This one, they linger on it in slow-mo, do like a repeat slow-mo of this car going up and down so long. It takes I think it's 3 minutes or something like that, where it's just lingering in slow-mo on this car landing. It looks like when the car came down, again, this is all practical. The guy, Halicki, he actually compacted his spine during the scene, which, again, very painful. But the car, it lands, it's slow motion, you can see it spin out and come around, but then the next scene, it hard cuts to a normal speed of the car jumping, and then it just lands fine and drums away. I'm like, oh, no, you just showed us that the car spun around. You can't just do that. But again, it's a low budget scene. The editor I've been reading, he didn't know what he was going to get in when they showed him the footage, so he just kind of had to cobble it together the best he could. And for what we got, I'd say it's fine. I think it's worth checking out if you like a B-movie film. It's definitely worth doing the Mystery Science Theater 3000 routine if you got some friends who like classic cars, but you just want to rip this movie to shreds. I think it's worth that. Definitely check that out. Again, I'm really comparing this to the remake just because there are certain scenes that they took from this movie. That they took from the original and translated to this, and that was kind of cool to see, but really the plot is kind of its own thing, and as it should be. This is definitely a time capsule of that indie film scene. It's definitely worth checking out. I had a decent amount of time with it, but maybe you'll have a better experience with it. If you've seen the original 74 Gone 60 Seconds, what did you think of the movie? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate whatever audience I can get. Be sure to look for my review of my next big new movie release, which I believe is going to be Fast 9, coming out June 25th. I'll also be doing my review of all of the episodes of Loki once that comes out, which that series starts June 11th, I believe. Be sure to look for all that on my channel. If you liked this video or any other video on my channel, please give me a like, share, and especially a subscribe. I very much appreciate it. Again, thank you for watching. You guys are the best, but just remember, there is nothing new under the sun. And yes, you have seen it before.